I'm John. I'm one of the founding members of CHASA, and I've got here Ruby, who's my latest gun dog, and she's something like 14 weeks old now. We're going to be following her through her journey from a little pup to hopefully a fully fledged gun dog, if I don't make any mistakes. So the main thing about gun dog training is not to make any mistakes, because the dog's got it. All I have to do is make sure she understands what I want, and we're all friends. And so that's what we're doing at the moment, isn't it, Ruby? She came from an Adelaide kennel. Her parents, her sire is an import champion from New Zealand, and the dam is from a local Adelaide Hills kennel. Some of their dogs have featured in field trials, so she's got some working bloodlines. And if you're buying a gun dog, that's important. You want to make sure that there's some working blood in there, at least field trial blood or something. But certainly she seems to have it in spades. She wants to do everything and get into everything, and I just have to point that in the right direction. My other two dogs, they were coming up into their 10th year, and they've both been absolutely cracker gun dogs. I couldn't be more pleased with them. But Father Time is advancing on all of us, and so it's time to bring up a new one. And my intention is, when she's old enough, to breed from her, from the lineage that I've already got, because they've been absolute crackers. Little dogs can get into trouble from all sorts of things, like eating the wrong things, like they're too happy to go through rubbish pits and get maybe corn cobs, which can be fatal for dogs, bones. My biggest worry here is snakes. This place is Snake City, and one of my things will be to try and teach her not to have anything to do with the snakes. I'll be trying to set that up, but that's not easy. You just have to be careful where you run her and when you run her. If you run her in the cold part of the day, you're probably pretty right, but you never know. She's a very bold puppy, very bold. She's into everything. She's playing with the older Labradors quite roughly, and she just keeps on coming back for more. So by the look of her at this stage, I'd say she's got it in spades. She's certainly not a timid dog, and I'm not anticipating problems. But having said that, once you make a problem for yourself, it's very hard to undo. So we've just got to go very, very slowly and carefully and watch how she reacts to things and make sure we don't make a mistake. Our intention is to follow her journey through this puppy stage into a fully fledged gun dog, and you'll be able to follow that journey on our CHASA YouTube site. And so if you want to see how Ruby's going, check into the CHASA YouTube site. This is Donald, and Donald's my main man. I've had him since a little pup, and I bred him. I had his father before him, and his father was an excellent gun dog. And yeah, we've been hunting together for the last nearly 10 years, haven't we, Donald? Labradors are born half trained, and Spaniels die half trained. Labradors, they were bred for retrieving, they were bred for gun dog work. That's what they were bred for, as were Spaniels. And they just very easy to train, very amenable, very intelligent. They're just beautiful dogs. They're just beautiful dogs. He's got a sense of humour. He's very intelligent. He'll have a lend to me, like if I'm not looking, he'll just reach up and pluck a whisker out of my beard. He thinks that's hilarious. He marks very well, and that means if I shoot a duck, he'll mark it down. He'll know exactly where it is, and he'll memorise that. And so if there's multiple ducks, I can send him out for that one, I can send him out for that one, and he'll remember where they are. He's got a brilliant nose. He's very obedient, but having said that, he's been doing this game so long, he knows his game. And if I send him somewhere and that duck's moved or whatever, he's got enough nous to tell me I don't know what I'm doing. And always trust him, because he'll be right every time. He'll want to work as long as he can draw breath. But to be fair to him, I've just got to watch his health and see how he's going. He'll certainly work full bore next year. After that, I'll monitor how he's going. He's going to slow up, and yeah, we'll take him out for little lollipop shoots where it's easy. I can push him into those thick reeds there, and he'll get a duck out, no problem at all. But when he gets older, that might be a bit tough for him, and I'll just have to slacken off on that and bring up the new dog. This is Jemima, so-called Jemima puddle duck, because when she was a puppy, off you go, camera hog, Jem. All she would do is sit in puddles, and so we knew that she'd love the water, and she always has. She's the one that goes into the water first, and she's a great gun dog. Off you go, Ruby. Jemima is my wife's dog, and she doesn't get to go quite as hunting as much as Donald, but she's absolutely keen as mustard, and she yeah, if you get the gun, she's there. She can't stand to be left out of it. Very, very good gun dog. Never misses a bird. Use her on quail. Use her on everything. So she's fantastic. She's very light in colour, and she got that from her father. And she's a spit image of her father, Oliver. And Donald and Jemima, believe it or not, are out the same litter. So they're exactly the same age, and brother and sister. Different personalities entirely. Donald's a clown, and Jemima is very strict and likes to follow the rules. I think it's probably very similar to myself and my wife. I'm the clown and she's very strict and makes me follow the rules. But that's the way it is in most families. But Jem's a great dog, and we're very lucky to have her. Okay, now Ruby has never faced water before, and so we brought her down here to introduce her to water for the first time. And what I've done here with this gate, I've closed the gate, so when I go through, she has to walk through that puddle. And so that will introduce her to getting her feet wet, which she's never done before. And she'll also see the other two dogs have got no problem with it. So this is really quite an important test to see how it reacts to water, because this has never been done before, and this is her first introduction to water. So I'm pretty confident it'll go all right, but that's why we've set this gate up like this, and that's why we got the water here, so we can walk on through and see what happens. Okay, come on you two. Come on, let's go. Look at this. Look at this. Look. Whoa, look at that. Hey, good girl, Ruby. That was fun, wasn't it? Well, that's brilliant. She's not worried about the water at all, and so we'll see how she goes. We'll go try on this water uphill. But she's never swum before, so we'll see how we go. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's great. Good girl, Jem. I'm going to chuck a tennis ball out there for Jem. And I'm going to tell them all to go for it, because what I want is I want Ruby to go too and follow them out there. I just want her to go into that water and splash around and realise that it's all good. And seeing these dogs love it so much and she just follows those, I'm hoping she won't hesitate and she'll go straight in. Ruby, what's this? What's this? Go on you blokes, go play, go play. Good girl, Ruby. Good girl. Good girl, Ruby. Good girl. Good girl. What's happened? Good girl. Good girl. Hey. But she recovered well from it and didn't seem too perturbed. Still wagging a tail, still happy. So we'll see how we go again. But that's how mistakes happen. She got a little bit of a fright then. And with a less bold dog, you might have had to go back to square one, but I don't think so. You ready, guys? Go play! Go on! Go on, Rube! Good girl, Ruby! Go on, Ruby! Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Oh, look at that, brilliant. Now Uncle Donald's got, no, Jem's got the ball. Who's got the ball? I think Jem's got the ball. Good girl, Ruby. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. That was fun, wasn't it? The first time she went in there, she got a little bit of a shock and froze, but she'd never been in water before. And she followed the other dogs in there not realising what to expect, and got a little bit of a shock. Perhaps in hindsight, perhaps I should have waited for a warmer day and a more gentle shelving area. Ooh! Good girl, Ruby! Good girl, Ruby! Good girl! Good girl! Good dog! Good dog! Good dog, Ruby! Good dog! Good dog! Good dog! Good dog!
So what just happened?
What just happened is Ruby swam for the first time and she did a big duck dive, and she didn't realise she wasn't going to float straight away. Now what I'll do is I'll just reinforce that, because she's following the big dogs, and I want her to realise it's nothing to be worried about. Good girl, Ruby! Good girl, Ruby! Good girl! She wants to go in, but she's not sure. Good girl! Good girl! Good girl, Ruby! Good girl! Good girl! Good girl! Good girl! Good girl! What are they doing? What are they doing? She jumped into that deep water following the other dogs, and she went under, and she could have got a big fright out of that and could have caused me a big problem. She's never swum before, so she actually swam, so that's great, and she's showing no signs of being anxious about being around the water. We just have to teach her to swim a bit better, and that's going to be easy, because she's not frightened of the water at all. She seems to like it. Couldn't care less that she soaked through. Very interested in the other dogs in the water. It's just a confidence thing. That's no problem whatsoever. So I'm really, really pleased, because that's gone really, really well. But her going into that deep water so suddenly could have been a big mistake on my part. But I got away with it. Go on, Donald. Donald, get it. Donald. Good girl, Rube. Come on, Ruby. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl, Ruby. You're a Labrador now. You're a Labrador now. Good girl.